Okay. So, hi, welcome everyone. This is the Rachel M. Schlesinger Concert Hall and Arts Center, and this is our first recording of a virtual tour with the artist Veronica Szalus. We're really excited she's here, and what we're going to be talking about is her incredible sculpture that is in the Schlesinger Center called Conduit. And this will be our virtual tour. I am Mary Higgins. I'm the gallery director of the Schlesinger Center, and I'm here with Andy Waters, who will be our cameraman, and Nathan Devonshyre. And here we are with the artist, Veronica. Hey,
Hi.
thank you for joining us. This is a really special day. What we'll do is we'll spend about 15 minutes talking about the really collaborative experience that occurred in the development of Conduit. And I'm going to move right away to a live shot of Conduit right now. So our viewers can see the expanse of this incredible sculpture. And I'm going to now go back to, that's a nice view there, Andy. I'm going to go to the overlay screen with both Veronica and I. And what we're looking at right now is a long shot of your sculpture, and Andy's going over. And really, what I thought we'd do is just talk about the experience of creating the work and also the really dynamic installation, the 2-day installation that we did last fall before the pandemic.
Sure.
So, want to chat about this?
Yeah, I think it was about a year and 3 months or so in length.
Yes.
I went to see a show at the Schlesinger Center, and you sort of planted a seed, the kernel of a seed,
I did, didn't
about an installation. And of course, the installation would be a large-scale installation, very public place, in the window mezzanine or the window ledge of the lobby. And I looked at the space and thought this would be really cool. And then I thought, what on earth am I going to do? I mean, my sculptures and my installations can span a pretty nice size space.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I've done them on lawns that span over 50 feet. So it wasn't the size or scale that was intimidating at all to me. It was actually something that I really embraced. I just had to think a little bit about what exactly would be a site-specific, what would be appropriate and site-specific for the Schlesinger.
And let me describe what we're looking at right now. Andy is really being moving along the expanse of it. So let's talk a little bit about the materials,
Sure.
The red, and just why Conduit, why these tube-like forms.
Okay. Well, I think it has to do with what my assigned or the goal or mission that I set out for this project. Basically, I wanted to activate the lobby window and ledge with visual motion. Yeah. And I thought doing this with a material, and perhaps even a material that's sort of contrary to visual motion, something that constrains, sort of like Higgins wire, also known as hex netting wire. Usually it's used to constrain, but in this case, I thought I would use it to really set into visual motion the ledge, and then also connect to the environment outside. And just
as an aside, what we're looking at now, we just saw a shot of Conduit in the outdoors, and now Andy's zooming into Conduit on the ledge, and it looks really. You see the layering. What is the use and importance of layering in your work?
Well, again, there was a connection to the natural environment. So what you're probably seeing is my piece as well as the trees outside,
yes,
and everything else that's happening outside. Yeah. And it almost like invites you to go past, to take in and then go past, and it also interplays with the season.
I like that. I like that, to take in.
So again, going back to the materials and the idea behind it. The work was something that I have toyed with in the past, and I did an installation similar to this with Otis Street
Love
And
Otis Street.
Otis Street, yeah. And it was with Ellen Weiss and Sandra Arkin. And the piece was sort of debuted there. And again,
Okay.
connecting to the environment.
Okay.
And
Let
when you
me.
had asked me,
Yeah.
when you,
I don't. I'm sorry to stop. There's a shot right now of the nests. Talk to me
cool.
about nesting in
Okay,
your
the
work.
nest are a tribute to you, Mary.
Ah!
When we were putting this together, I had brought in, so let me back up. In order to transport the piece, I had to break each of the segments down and sort of
Yeah.
stack them in kind of like a nest.
It's
And when I
amazing.
delivered
Yeah.
when I delivered them, you saw them stacked and you really liked the nest idea. And they, of course, were pulled apart and put into a swirling installation. But you had often talked about the nesting, and I thought, well, here's a nice chance to give Mary a tribute. So there are two nests there that are
Looking at the
specific
one in the
column
center.
nests.
Yeah.
So we'll call those the nest for Mary. And then the piece itself kind of lends itself towards a nest. It's an organic, biomorphic piece. And there are many places where it intersects and you get sort of a nest-like look and feel to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we're looking at one of those forms now, just the details. So you can zoom in, and we're getting the opportunity really with this tour to really zoom into the incredible details in the form. And then right now we're looking at one of the red disco balls in the second nest. And those have been, added color when we have had really bright days. It's an overcast day, but it's really, in a very interesting way, we're able to really sort of see the texture of the piece.
You
And the
do. And on
texture
overcast
of the-
days, you get to see more of the depth of the piece, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's
And
really looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
the disco balls or the red balls were added to the piece in response to, again, that site-specific nature, looking at the color and the tones in the Schlesinger gallery, but also wanting to interplay with the outside. The mirrored balls are really there to pick up sunlight and then
Yeah.
to shoot off sunlight. And, that's sort of like that speckled instance that, when the sun hits it just the right way. So it adds a tone and color to it. Color is also added at the beginning and the ends of the piece.
Yes.
Very,
Yes.
earth tone
We're looking at a long shot right now.
Yeah.
It
earth
looks-
tone light, yeah, in nature. So the piece there's a lot going on with that piece. And again, going to that swirling, connecting inside and out, I chose to keep it as mostly white, but also introduce color in a meaningful and purposeful way. Part of it to really reflect the interior tone of the Schlesinger, then also to connect to that outside environment.
The textures are really dynamic. I know I had the opportunity to talk to a number of students about Conduit as a concept, and some people were talking about it as like a snake skin-like form, and these
like that.
details that we're looking at right now really give you the feeling of a snake shedding its skin. It's really awesome, Andy. Thank you. Look at
And
that.
super string theory, I think you said as well. Those are both fabulous
Yeah.
descriptions.
And this is a new medium, I think, for us. This looks fantastic.
Well, I'm glad that there's conversation about it, and people are also looking into it and taking from their own, inner experience some type of a reflection on the piece, which is really what happens with art. Once the artist takes the piece out and puts it into the world, you have a specific idea about what this piece is about. You lose control of that narrative once it's in public view, and that's a beautiful thing, really. Because people can bring their own experiences to it and take away what they want to take away.
Well, we've been enjoying these really, really nice close-up shots, and when we're ready, I think we're going to end with a long shot. Does that sound good, Andy? Okay, I got a thumbs up. But anything else you want to add, Veronica?
It was a real pleasure doing this piece, and going back to perhaps a little bit more about the installing of it.
Yes.
It was about a year and 3 months or so from start.
Production.
Once I developed the concept, of course, I had to share it with you, and then you had to get approval for it, and then it was developed there. The challenge of the Schlesinger Center was to design a site-specific piece that really worked well. and that I could assemble in 2 days, a day or two.
Yes.
So I worked a lot of it out with a model.
Okay.
And it was a scale model. So I had a good idea of what I was going to be doing once I got there, so I could hit the ground running to install it. Still took 2 days, but I understood the space.
Huge amount of space.
Yes,
Yes.
I did. And I normally have an idea, and sometimes a very specific idea of what my installations are going to look like. But there are times when I'm in a space that once I start to install, it changes radically. This one did not. It stayed pretty close.
Consistent, yes, to the mock-up.
Being flexible and free enough to add the Mary nests.
Yes, thank you. And we should give a shout out to your collaborator, Nathan.
Please.
Yeah.
Nathan
you
was.
Guys worked the ledge, and I was the busybody watching.
The two of you. Yeah. It would have taken, if I were to do this by myself, it would have probably taken 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I would have had
a lot of constraints. So there's a really nice shot that's beginning to happen here. Right now, Andy's got a detail, but he managed to get this look of the piece Conduit with the trees outside. And that's, wow. We're really looking at the entire length of the piece from one side of the atrium going to where it lifts up to the second level. And it's just amazing. And then you can see the beginning of the trees turning into fall. So this has just been a really great opportunity to be able to share this amazing piece with close-up tours and to be talking to the artist in person. This is so awesome. So I really thank you. Can we close with, Andy, you think you could get the trees with Conduit again? Maybe we'll close. Anything else? Oh, it's so beautiful.
Just
Can't wait to show this to you. Perfect.
I'll see it.
That's a perfect shot. Perfect shot.
Just to thank the staff at the Schlesinger again. You, Mary, for being my eyes when I was installing, inviting me to this and being part of the process. Nathan for basically working with me to assemble the piece and being the engineer on site. And Andy for all the great lighting and technology that he's bringing to the, for people to see this beyond the Schlesinger Center. Thank you all. It's been an amazing pleasure working with you, and to be able to revisit it this way while we're still looking at ways that we can creatively engage during
virtually. Yeah. And we'll share this with you as soon as we can. But you can see the trees outdoors through the beautiful windows. And you can see the Conduit sort of flowing toward the camera, and it's really hot shot.
And maybe when we can reconvene, we did talk about taking a little bit of Conduit into the trees outside.
Ooh. Well, I think we have to transform, given the way that our world has changed so much in this past 6 months, has it been? So such a joy to see you. That's a great idea. It's a joy to see you. And thank you very much. And we'll talk to you soon.